I can't even express how much I love my Procolored dual head DTF printer. Like, it's amazing. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Patrice, and as y'all saw, we are going to be working with a little bit of DTF today. I do have an order that I need to get out today for a friend, a local friend. She needed some transfers in a rush, and so I'm getting those printed out for her. And this is the Procolored dual head printer, DTF printer. DTF is direct to film. If you are unfamiliar with that, we're printing straight onto film. However, this is not a DTF hack. This is an actual DTF printer with DTF ink printing on DTF film. This is not one of the hacks, so you all will see the process of how I get this done. I also have the curing oven and the shaker, the attached system, the 2-in-1 or 3-in-1, because it's a shaker, duster, and curing oven, and you all will see that it's on wheels, so it's super convenient to do it. So if you are looking for DTF printers, you're in the market, do your research before you get one. You need to know what you're getting into, okay? You need to understand some basics of DTF printing. You need to know a lot about printers, or at least some basics about printers, and you need to have a lot of patience. You need to have a lot of patience. So let's get started. I need to print this stuff out, and yeah, let's get started.
Now we're headed to the softwares that we'll be using today, and today we're going to be using two different softwares. One software is like a print manager software that Procolored has for the actual printer. You can literally see when there's a mistake, when something happens, and it will tell you what is going wrong with the printer at that time. You're also able to do cleanings and checks on your printer. You're able to adjust the different margins. There's so many different features within this software that will connect directly to your printer and help you adjust any settings that you need to adjust. Now the difference is that this is not actually your RIP software. There's a separate RIP software that Procolored has, but they both work together. They feed off of each other, and so it's very important to know this software and what you can actually do inside of this software. So that software works in the back end, but you need it open when you're opening up your RIP software because it works with the RIP software as well. So we're going to open up the Procolored RIP software, and this is the software that we will be actually using to print out our image. I am going to import the image that we will be using today, and this is the canvas that we're using. You can change your canvas to any size. However, I usually print a lot out at one time, and so my canvas is pretty long. So right now the image is just uploading, and this is an image that the client sent to me. And as you see, those red margins are outside of the canvas, so that will cause a problem with you trying to rip your image and print it out. So we're going to have to import an image that does not have that extra space around it. It looks like there's nothing there, but when the image was saved, it was saved with extra space on the side. So we just had to go ahead and remove that. All right, so now we have the image without all of that extra space. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete the one at the top because we really cannot use that, because unless you shrink it, and we don't really want to shrink it too much, right? And we can't even tell what size it's going to actually be with it the way it was previously. Now we have a more accurate size. If you look at the bottom, we have some of the control panels at the bottom where we have the size. We also have where we can change the orientation of the image. You can mirror the image, flip the image, and different things like that. So right now I'm just resizing the image because I have small, medium, large, and extra large shirts to make, and so we want to make different sizes for the different size shirts, different size images for the different size shirts, so that it looks good on the shirt, right? So we are now going to create our sheet, and this is what you would consider a gang sheet. We're going to simply begin to duplicate the image and just drag it down. So all I'm doing on my PC is holding the Windows key and dragging down. Okay, that will create a duplicate for you. Now I still have to resize some of the other images so that it could fit nicely onto the shirts, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. But I'm just making sure that none of the images are overlapping And with this particular software, the images will snap into place. So I don't really have to worry about that. But as I was going, I realized that the canvas that I had is not going to be enough space for all of the images to go. I have to print out 20 of these images in various sizes. So I'm just going to head up to the top to canvas, and I'm going to adjust the height of the canvas. So as you see, the width is 13 inches. This printer can print up to 13 inches wide, and then it can just do a continuous print. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and continue adding the remaining images so that we can go ahead and get this printed out. So everything is set up. Now I have to insert the dongle. With the Procolored printer and your RIP software, you will need a dongle in order for it to actually communicate with the software and the printer all together. All right, so we have the dongle inserted, and so now I'm just going to click RIP. And what I'm doing is preparing the document so that it can actually be printed out. You will have the ability to change your colors and change the amount of black and cyan, the different colors, the way that you like. This does require testing so that you can see how your printer will print. Everybody's printer and machinery and everything does not work the same, so I do encourage you to test it out. So now that it's ripping, after it's done ripping, we will then be able to click print, and then we will print, and it'll send it to our printer. As you will see, our printer start to gear up in a second and start printing. So now everything is printing, and with DTF, of course, we'll be able to print white. The first layer is the color layer, and then we'll print white. It is connected to my curing and shaking oven, so that's what you all saw. Once this goes through, we'll be able to put it through the curing machine and have it cured. But because the sheet is only so long, I'm unable to actually thread the curing oven. So I'm just letting it print, and then I'm watching it so that once it does get long enough for me to be able to put it through the shaker and the oven, I will. So I usually like to do my test prints or my nozzle checks, like a few nozzle checks, just to make sure everything is good, and I don't cut that off, so that way I'll have extra film to weed through to make sure that all of the images get powdered and cured. So now we're just here, I'm watching it, and as it's going, I'm still doing other work, but once I see that it starts to get a little bit longer, I will monitor it a little bit better. Don't mind my PJs. Y'all, I'm working at home, and I just decided to show y'all how this goes. All right, so now it's getting a little bit longer, and I'm just checking it out. Inside of the curing oven is a sensor, and that sensor, once the film goes down to the sensor, it will begin moving the roller. Okay, and so I don't want it to keep moving the roller, so I'm just going to hold it up until it actually prints out a few more images so that there's enough film through so that I could put it through the curing oven. But so far it looks like it is printing out beautifully, and I'm pretty happy with these prints. Alright, so it's almost time for me to start putting it through the machine, and what I like about this printer is that I can pause the print. So all I did was pause the print, and now I'm just ready to thread the paper through the machine and into the oven. So you want to make sure that you thread it before that powder starts to come down, because this machine has a shaker and a duster to make sure that the image is nicely coated. But once it starts to get back going, it's touching that sensor, and so as it's pushing through, the roller will roll it up on that tube, and that's what I love. So if you guys look down there, that powder is on there, the powder is shaking, the powder is the machine is dusting the film so that the film isn't really full of adhesive. The adhesive should only stick to the printed areas, and now we're good to go. I'm working on some other things, making sure everything looks good, and y'all, this is the way to go. Like, I absolutely love this setup. Alright guys, so we are all done, and I don't need to package this because I'm simply doing a handoff. She's going to be pressing these fairly quickly, but these are the transfers. I do have them rolled up. If you all want a detailed video on how to ship or package DTF transfers, if you decide to go that route, please let me know and I will make a video. But you definitely want to make sure it stays away from any humidity. But nonetheless, everything looks good. That white looks good. Everything cured beautifully, and I'm just going to roll this up and make sure that she gets her transfers.
All right, y'all, so we are all done with printing out our transfers, and as y'all saw, that was super easy, super painless. What I like about this printer and oven setup is that I'm able to get other work done. With the single sheets, I have to stop. Every time I print out, I have to stop. I have to put the powder on it, and then I have to cure it, and that just takes up so much time, and I find myself not being able to get much done in between the printing, because once printing out, I'm dusting. Like, it's just, I love this setup. Now, if you have to use the other setup because that's what your budget allows, then definitely go that way, because I got a lot done with my other printer, my Procolored L1800. But this one right here, y'all, I can set it up and go about my business. Of course, you want to monitor your printer as it's printing out. Make sure it's not smearing. Make sure the film is going smoothly into the shaker and oven. And also, you want to make sure that that print head does not touch that film. So sometimes if it's not aligned correctly in the brackets, that film may lift up, and the print head on this printer is super, super, super low. So you always want to make sure that it is feeding through the printer and the brackets correctly. So anytime I'm printing, I always make sure, like, I'm watching it to see how it flows through those brackets, just to make sure that I don't have a situation, because I don't want the film to scratch up the print head. But y'all, that's it. I gotta head out. I gotta make sure that my friend gets her prints. And yeah, so thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to head over to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and join the Craftable Things communities there as well. If you're interested in one of these printers, a link will be listed below in the description to the Procolored website, where they have tons of other printers. They have this DTF, they have the L1800, they also have UV printers, they have DTG printers, UV DTF printers. They have a lot of different printers. So if you're interested, please check out the link below. And yeah, that's it, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time.